Good evening, and welcome to this week's London by Gaslight, a late Victorian age vampire the Masquerade Chronicles set in 1892. Awakening for the night in the City of London this week is Eveline, the daughter of Cacophony, portrayed by Miss Hutz. Please do arouse check to awaken from your torpor state. Wonderful. Thurston of the Nosferatu, portrayed by Nitro Typat. Please do arouse check to awaken from your torpor state. Excellent. Aldrich of the Clan of Shapers, portrayed by Bully from Tablegoth, who, since joining us here, has realised he's nowhere near as bad of a person as he thought he was. Please do a rouse check to awaken from your torpor state. Excellent.
One of us.
Inspector Grey from the Clan of the Hunt, portrayed by Noscavian. Please do a rouse check to awaken from your torpor slumber. You're getting thirsty tonight, like one of your OnlyFans. We start this week in the many sewers of London. Thurston has been asked to meet with Clara, and the sounds of water flowing and gushing past them fills their ears as they stand just outside the edge of Nosferatu territory, to ensure they can talk as privately as possible. A soft chilling breeze whistles through the brick tunnels as Clara appears from an offshoot sewer tunnel and approaches the waiting Thurston. Thurston, I'm so glad you came. We have a small issue to talk about.
Oh, is it anything terrible?
The other night, we discovered a dead body dumped here in the sewers, drained of blood. It didn't take long to find out that you were the one responsible. Lucky for you, though, I was able to grease a few palms and stop the news of the murder reaching Fagin. He wouldn't have been pleased to hear about it. I must ask, though, what on earth possessed you to think that was an effective way to dispose of a body?
I was the one that did the exsanguinating, but I was with a friend that night and didn't realize that his way of hunting is rather violent. I did come up with a rather good system of dealing with bodies that pop up due to unforeseen circumstances, though.
Well, that's all well and good, but Fagin wants Nosferatu of the city to be respected, to be respectable as possible. Going around killing your food is not constructive to that end goal. Don't use the sewers in this way, Thurston.
But the Nosferatu are respected, very much so, by being one of the pillars that hold up the Masquerade, am I wrong?
We are given the minimal amount of respect as possible. Don't forget that we do look like monsters, and are judged as such.
Yes, I know this fact very well. But if our fellow kindred are caught in a situation where they need to dispose of a body, don't you think we are the right people to do so? We
There
are
are
the best at
ways.
keeping to the shadows.
There are ways to dispose of a corpse if accidents happen. Dumping a body outside a hospital for students to study is an effective method, but one that shouldn't be overused as it raises many questions. Bashing the body around to make it look like a mugging gone bad. Get creative, but an even better idea is to just not murder people. If Fagin gets wind of someone killing Kine, he will be most displeased.
Yes, the man was not a very good kind. I know it's not often that we pose sympathy for our, food source, but the fellow kindred I was with did have a reason that he didn't want that man staying alive. I didn't like the way that he disposed of the body, but After what he did to it, the sewer was probably the best place to do so. He
You need to
was
be
in one piece when I finished with him. Let's just say that.
you need to be more subtle in future, Thurston.
Right, and for our fellow kindred that aren't good at doing so, I've come up with these cards, and I'll pull out a little card out of my pocket, and it's got a symbol printed on it of the Nosferatu clan, but in a type of way that you only see it if you like shine the light on it in a certain way, so it's not obvious. See, if we give these to our fellow kindred, and we say that if there's ever a situation where there's no other way of disposing a body, leave it by the sewer with one of these cards, and us Nosferatu, who are masters of sneaking around the city and disposing of things, can dispose of it for them.
It's an interesting supposition. I can propose it to Fagin, although the logistics required to be able to pull this off effectively. Do you expect a Nosferatu to just sit by the sewer every night, waiting for a card that may or may not drop?
Well, no, the card
Is
would not be dropped.
is this what you've become since joining that fancy dandy club? All of a sudden you just look upon your fellow Nosferatu now as cleaners and nothing more?
No, I'm just trying to put our best interests together and use the Nosferatu in a way that I think would benefit everybody.
And would you be willing to stand by a manhole cover all night just in case a dead body was dropped off there?
If I had nothing better to do.
You sure it wouldn't stain your suit?
Oh, you know I still use the sewers to get around. I'm not like Eveline. I can
Yes, but
handle a
unlike most
little
other
bit of dirt.
Nosferatu, when you remove the manhole cover, you have pinky fingers.
Or yes, pinky fingers out. It's just proper etiquette.
You're changing, Thurston, and it might not be for the best.
I don't know. I think it's been going pretty well. I mean, you should see this other guy in our coterie. He's been having it really rough. Much worse than I have. So it's been kind of a ego boost, if you will.
Yes, because that's exactly what I thought you needed, was a boost to your ego.
I thought so too.
Meanwhile, in the Coterie Whitechapel house, Aldrich is talking with one of his gang members, who pulled him aside to discuss something of a sensitive nature with him in private. Aldrich takes his gang member aside and stands with him in a small hallway that leads into the cellar, but is isolated from the rest of the downstairs by a thick door so that they can indeed be afforded some privacy. Boss, look, we've got a bit of a problem here. That woman that was brought in the other day, well, thankfully she ain't here right now, so I can tell you this, but she has been real trouble. A few of the men here have upped and gone. She uses her wiles to have some private time with them, and next thing we know is that they turn up dead, usually beaten to death, and beaten bad. Like, so bad they ain't even got no blood left. She is a really angry woman. And we can't do nothing about it, because, well, she's the wife of one of your friends. At least that's what she said. So, we've been talking, and thought it best we come to you. The rest of us just don't feel safe no more.
Right, no, you're correct to come to me. I will speak to her handler, see if he can't, get a handle on things. And if he doesn't, I will.
And, there's been a bit of a mess in the cellar. Some of the men have been found mutilated there, and we're pretty sure it's her. We're a bit reluctant to go in the cellar, because strange
What?
things
She's
happen.
hanging out in my cellar.
We think so. I mean, that's where we found a few remains. And when I say a few remains, boss, I mean that quite literally. Like, hands, fingers, toes, knees and toes. Knees and toes.
All right. You and the boys take a bit of a break. Maybe get yourselves out of the house for a while. I will take care of this, and I promise when you return, things will be safe, and your working conditions will be more agreeable.
Thanks, boss. You're the best, boss. We'll go make some trouble in your name.
All right, appreciate that. Inspector?
Yes, Aldrich, how can I be of assistance?
Do you know where your wife is right now?
Shiv, do I know where she is right now?
He's out.
She left the house. I don't think she's here. She must be gone. I thought we told her not to leave.
Well, it seems like ever since this her condition, she's got a bit unruly, right? And I'm sort of an expert in management, these sort of team building, these sort of things. And might need to offer you a bit of advice. You only have one person responsible for, and they're making a mess of things. I've got a whole gang, a dog. I've got all sorts of creatures, and they're all fine, very well behaved. We're on a tight ship, Inspector, and it seems that you've. I mean, I'm not sure how to talk about her because she's your wife still, I suppose. But get her in check, right?
Yes, this information is quite surprising. This isn't like her at all. I'll have to have a discussion with her.
What's your goal with this woman? I mean, you're married or whatnot. Is that it? That you and her are now forever betrothed? Do you want to pull her in the business? I mean, she's got your blood in her, right? Do you plan on training her? How do you toss knives about and help you get out there on the streets, or what's?
Well, she
a
was
5-year plan.
She was already doing that when we were living. She worked mostly during the day. She's quite an effective combatant. I initially just didn't want to lose her, and I was hopeful she could be a valuable asset to the coterie and help us all, but since she changed, I definitely need to speak to her because this type of behavior, she's never done anything like this before. It doesn't seem like her at all. And we've gone over the last week, we've gone over what she should be doing and shouldn't be doing, and she's not to be draining people to their death. She's not to be leaving the house and running around until we acquire permission.
Oh, I don't need to hear your list of rules for her, Inspector. I just need to know that she's. I mean, what I do if someone's not obeying me, I smack them about. I don't suggest that for you in your situation. Again, you shouldn't work with your wife. This is why it gets complicated. People work with you. You can hit them and make them. I mean, I know. Plenty of men do that.
If she's,
I don't think it's right personally. But if you don't, I will. That's about where we're at here.
If she's out about running around when she's not supposed to be, draining people dry, she's going to get herself killed.
Isn't there a way to make her just listen to you, right? I did not have a traditional sire relationship, but from what I understand, most people are quite obedient when they turn.
From what I've heard, and this is just through hearsay and stories, not that I was around, but it was commonplace for elders to blood bond their child or to essentially keep them enslaved to their will. That practice is less common in these modern nights.
Right, I understand how that might leave a bad taste in your mouth, but maybe we start with that, and then you slowly wean her off of it until she, stops killing my men.
Perhaps that would be a wise course of action. You certainly can't be draining people with no thought of the consequences.
Well, I mean, and it's not just people, Inspector. It's my men, my things. She's taking
Yes.
from me. It rubs me the wrong way. I've always been quite possessed with certain people.
Yes, I mean, running around and draining anyone is bad, but the fact that she's doing it to your men and our allies is a more grievous offense indeed.
We are all on the same page, Inspector, and I do appreciate that about you. You've always been a mindful man. All right, with this talk, again, if you need any help, if you need any modifications, if you need anything at all, I'm at your service. Again, that's why I'm here, to help you all.
Thank you, Aldrich. I'll definitely bring that up.
You exaggerate.
Right, good.
Inspector Gray, I guess ball is in your court if there's anything you wish to do before I proceed.
I went to go looking for Nezka, but if she's not around, I'll have to just wait until she comes back, I suppose.
Wits and streetwise for me, please. It's just about enough. You go wandering out onto the streets of London, finding old haunts, places that you just know that your wife would be. Eventually, you find her and confront her down a dark alleyway as she is stalking a mortal man.
Nezka, what are you doing?
Keep your voice down. You've just cost me prey.
Nezka, you need to return to the home immediately.
Why must I do what you say?
Because until we clear with the prince that you are allowed to exist, then being out and about is a threat to your very existence.
I never asked for this existence. It was thrust upon me by you.
And when you feed, you're to leave people alive, not drain them to death.
What difference does it make?
You want to live, don't you? You want to continue
Live?
to be.
You call this live? I breathe not. I have no heartbeat. I have only other blood in me. Is this what life is to you?
Life is what you make it. If you choose to wallow in your misery, then that's all you have. You need to set a goal.
And this was a life that I
Aspire
was
for
not
greater things.
chosen. That I have not chosen was chosen for me by you.
Very well, I see you do not want this life.
I shall return to the house. But I wish you to know it is my own choice to do so, and not because you requested it.
I understand, but please be mindful. Just wait until we get permission before you leave the house. And I'll make sure to bring you some food to sate you. Do not feed on Aldrich's men.
I shall not feed upon them.
Do not kill them either.
If they get in my way, I may have to.
We cannot treat our friends and allies with such callous, lest they treat us the same way.
Our friends and allies?
They've extended their hospitality to us. We are guests in their home. Do we treat our hosts with such callousness?
She bares her fangs at you and whips her dress behind her as she walks confidently in the direction of the Whitechapel house.
Okay. I'll return back as well.
I'm a modern 19th century woman. I don't need no man. Later in the week, the coterie have travelled to one of the smaller Elysiums in London, just north of Southwark, close to Blackfriars Bridge after having been summoned there by one of the London sheriffs. The Elysium is quiet, and the few unfamiliar faces that are present in the Elysium pay them no heed. The coterie has sat around one of the larger tables in the room, with the young lady at the head, explaining to them why exactly they have been summoned there.
Does this Elysium have a stage?
No.
Okay. Gotta ask.
You've got to ask, I know. But no.
I believe that is my cue for her rouse check.
Oh, if you want to do that, yes, please.
Sense.
Gain a hunger.
Yes, she'll be sitting there and she's not dressed like any woman, at the time, not really a lot of makeup. Her hair is just down loose and straight. Again, very odd for the time. A simple blazer, little actual ribbon bow tie, simple trousers that aren't like tailored to her petite form or anything like that to accentuate womanhood, just very kind of basic. Hands are folded at the top of the table. And I am not going to attempt a British accent. I will make our storyteller squirm for different reasons. But yeah, she's sitting there with her hands folded on top of the table. Yes, good evening. Thank you very much for joining me. I am Sheriff Barr of the northern parts. I've been assigned to this little endeavor that you're here for. There's an inventor, a kind who has found a way to make this little device that he's made this patent for to commune with spirits. And it works. I personally take offense to it for my clan. Because as you know, those of the moon are basically the savants. Idiots, some may be, we are savants. The aspects nonetheless. As such, and being Camarilla and you all respecting the tower as you do, I would hope that you would not want such things fall into kind hands and for the technology to develop further. I can lead you to the inventor's laboratory, sanctum, whatever you might call it. He's since abandoned it. We might be able to find some more information there.
Poppycock, I have seen so many supposed contraptions that talk with the dead. They're all fakes. We'll just go expose them for what they are.
Would I be sitting here telling you all that this needs to be dealt with if it didn't hold some weight, if we didn't actually obtain it ourselves? Older blueprints and the not? We've confirmed it. And we need to get rid of it.
We can prove it's fake, I'm sure.
And let us get it.
Aldrich is gonna kind of lean over to Thurston. Be like, "Well, I thought by coming in, an inspector was gonna get himself killed for all the things he's been up to, but it seems Eveline is feeling rather frisky this evening.
It's still early in the night.
That can be addressed later.
Also, I'll
I'm
kind
just
of turn to.
saying.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying. I'll believe it when I see it.
Can't fault you for that now, can I, ma'am? But yeah, she'll stand, pull out her ribbon. She'll be off now.
Oh, so we're to accompany you, Sheriff, on this.
I mean, I know the location better than you lot. It's better that we keep this between us for now.
Perfect,
Not involve
right.
too many.
Right, our coterie has nothing to hide, and we are very professional, so I see no problem with us working with the Camarilla Sheriff on this.
You exaggerate.
She just smirks a little bit. Wonderful. Everything should go as expected.
I have a very nice carriage. If you would like to, I would be happy to give you passage there.
Storyteller, would Juliet have like a driver, like a new deputy or something?
I think it would actually be fair to say that Juliet probably has access to one of the very new motorized vehicle horseless carriage things that exist.
Ooh.
Although I would very much like to see Juliet drive that.
I don't know if she can drive very well. Well, I mean, if she has a driver, she would suggest taking her own means of transportation. Driver already knows how to get there and everything like that. That'll just cut down on time, communication, stuff like that.
Right, sure. I mean, my carriage. Fine.
Oh, no. We have no need for that. There is something, since you've come all the way to the city. See some of the things that we have access to. We have no need for horses tonight.
Can I bring my dog?
Don't believe there would be room unless you're comfortable with putting them in the trunk. Which is quite sizable. It's impressive.
I mean, okay. Right, no, that's fine. Let's use your fancy device then. Seems to be better than what I have. Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, as I said, if you're going to be in the big city, you might as well enjoy the perks of it.
Alright, let's be off then.
Very well. And she'll lead the way.
We're about to get in. I guess it's sort of hitting Aldrich that there's less of us. Sort of turn to the others. Speaking of all that talk about her clan, the idiots and the savants, which one do you think we have? Because I assume Alistair's not here because he probably went on a walk and got lost again. That's what happened last time.
I bet he chickened out.
I believe he legitimately got lost.
No, I think this time he chickened out.
Oh. Right. Interesting clan, that one. Alright. You're muted, Inspector.
Yeah. I understand that these vehicles are more modern, but is it just me or are they more cramped and less spacious?
Well, I mean, obviously it's not going to be as nice as my carriage, but I just try to be polite, make her feel good about it. Alright, coming, Sheriff.
Okay, yeah. I assume she would have taken the time to let them file out, go retrieve the keys from whoever's the key holder and the knot. It's kind of playing with them in her hand. Alright, well, haven't driven this much. Deputies seem to be a little occupied, but it's not too far. This should be fun. And she hops into the driver's seat.
I will be taking the seat next to the driver's seat. I'm not sure if there's a name for this particular seat, but
The seat in the middle?
no, the seat at the end. If this were like some sort of combat vehicle, this would be a good place to wield a shotgun. So I'm gonna call the shotgun seat for now. And I will claim that, and I will be getting in there.
So you do not fire a shotgun from this? No. I do not want any damage in that regard to happen to this. Please no.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it.
We call it the navigator's position, but, whatever.
You've never called shotgun? Is that a strictly American thing?
Apparently.
It's the blunderbuss
It's not
seat.
surprising if it is that we have gun
Yeah.
names for.
No, not.
I mean, do you guys know what the oh shit handle is?
And just for reference, when you're on the internet, don't do this for twiddling keys. You'll regret that. It comes back to haunt you.
Yeah, trust me, it does.
Excuse you, Bahari.
Touché. The coterie crammed themselves into the car, with Aldrich having invented and called the position of shotgun. It travels a few miles south of their current position, at the blistering speed of 15 miles an hour. Is there anything you wish to talk about en route, or would you like to just arrive?
Sheriff, about this device. It simply is a way of speaking to spirits, right? You don't anticipate us actually running into any of these ghosts or whatnot.
I mean, it remains to be seen. I haven't been there for some time. These things like to come and go. But I believe he called it a psychophone. Not very inventive, if you ask me.
Is the intention to simply destroy this device and its inventor then? Do we have permission to do so? Or is this more we are investigating this?
A character storyteller?
Death, destruction.
Oh, yes.
Oh, also I just remembered I should be pretending to be French. So he's had a wig this whole time. We haven't had to speak to an Elysian person for a while.
But yes, you all have full permission to destroy this individual kind as well as this invention. It wouldn't hurt if any others that we come across were destroyed as well.
Very well. At least we know not to hold back.
The car comes to a very slow halt on the edges of Southwark, near each exit, as the sheriff guides the coterie through the slums of Southwark, down cobblestone streets with soiled water running through the gutter in the middle. As they pass through an alley and past a clotheslines filled with rags that people use as an excuse for clothing in their ragged lives, Juliet guides them down one of the small gardens and to a pair of angled wooden shutter doors that lead into the house's cellar. They walk down the creaking wooden stairs into a modest-sized stone-walled laboratory. Glass alembics under extinguished Bunsen burners sit on an expensive-looking dining table. Bookshelves line the walls, and an office desk and lamp are at the head of the room, with journal papers stacked upon it.
So typical. This is all a ruse. And I start flipping through the journal papers.
I mean, we did have to convince him that the psychograph bone device is fraud, which made him spiral and think that everything else was a fraud. I mean, won't lie, I might have had a little bit of my power invested in that as well. Quite fun.
Feline. Intelligence and investigation, please. Yeah, I'll give that to you. The journal papers begin with a vague interest in adapting a telephone for the purposes of talking with the dead, but have far more detailed descriptions of spending time with his wife and plans for having a family. The journals go on describing how Jacob's wife died from tuberculosis, and that he, angry and confused, why he was spared. The tone of the journal turns its focus to the research and application of the phone being adapted, with the later parts of the journal reviewing his progress from frustration and the desire to make contact with his wife, to the meeting with someone named Alistair Crowley, who provided insight that was critical to several breakthroughs that made the psychophone possible. The last and most recent entry talks about how successful he has been and is eager to use the device to communicate with his lost wife, but also speaks of heavy paranoia at being watched all the time and someone or group out to stop his invention, so he is forced to take shelter until he is able to manufacture his invention for the public.
We'll have randomly read pages aloud. So everyone knows it's
Well,
fine.
the man clearly is intelligent.
Such a sad story.
That's so sad when it's so typical. Now is it?
Begs
feel
to
that's
question. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Begs to question why he believes someone was watching him. I'd look at the chair.
I feel
Little
less bad
paranoid.
about having to kill the man. Sorry.
Oh, no. What were you saying?
I said I feel less bad now about having to kill the man.
Hmm.
Perhaps he will be eager to be reunited.
I don't think eager is the correct choice there, but I like where your head's at.
I mean, if he could contact her on the other plane, it's not like they can achieve the goals. Might as well give them the reunion.
Sheriff, if something were to happen and it was a ghost, do you have a way of combating them?
I do. Yes. I would hope that you would, adhere to the Masquerade, but if anything does get out of control, we can't do damage control on our end.
This is good to know. I find myself quite useless against such foes. Your company comforts me. Shall we proceed then?
Yes. I will stay behind. Watch over you. Do let me know if you find anything.
Storyteller, other than the journals, what else was around us at the moment?
Bunsen burners, files.
Large table in the middle. It's worth noting that the Bunsen burners are also on their own separate table that runs along the wall.
I think just out of habit, I'm going to go around and just turn all the Bunsen burners off.
Wits and awareness for me, please.
I need to hit awareness first.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh no.
That's Thurston.
Before you shut those off and I hand him the papers deliberately, maybe we can dispose of these.
I'll
I
definitely
give
do
the
that.
storyteller some fuel here.
Yeah, I was going to say, depending on what Shiv says, yep.
Pun intended. Give the storyteller some fuel.
Thurston, as he systematically goes through each Bunsen burner, turning it off, finds various experiment notes upon the desks. The experiment notes are about distilling substances found in people's blood. The notes are hurried and disjointed, and few sentences even make sense. but it appears the belief was being able to distill the soul or essence of a person through their blood, which would enable the psychophone to work and be able to make contact with someone connected by blood across the veil. As he does this, the beast inside of him begins to rear and scream. Thurston cannot use teamwork and performs any action that avoids establishing dominance or challenging authority at a 2-dice penalty to all of his pools. This compulsion ends when Thurston has won and gloated over it. You are suffering from the dominance compulsion.
At that point, I will assertively yank the notes out of Evelyn's hands and begin to hover them over the Bunsen burner. The last one, before turning it off. It's a good idea. It's a good thing I thought of it.
Would Juliet have noticed additional pieces of paper being picked up from the separate table?
Absolutely.
She'll just call over. Before you do burn them, anything related, anything the tower might want to know about.
Typical science nonsense, you know. I don't think it's anything that the tower would worry about.
This Evelyn, was it? You gleaned these as well. Do you agree?
Oh, in the notes that I handed over, it's just what I read aloud. So nothing really about the invention itself, just that he made it.
Very well.
I don't know what was on the other notes, though.
She'll take a couple careful steps forward to see if they react and just put her hand out. Mind if I take a glance just to make sure?
Well, you want the paperwork for this thing destroyed, right? I'm doing that job right now.
Do. But information is also part of this mission, is it not? And she will rapid reflex. Try to grab it out of his hand.
That's going to be an automatic success. He doesn't have Celerity 5. I don't think he even has Celerity 1.
No, I don't.
So you will be able to successfully and very swiftly grab the papers from his hand, noticing that where he was holding them is slightly moist to the touch, as he still stands there in shock.
She'll look it over, side-eye him, satisfy a little teasing smirk, look back to it, just crumple it on her fingertips, kind of flick it back at him. Very curious that you would want to keep that to yourself. I'll be sure to let the prince know about that little detail, child. Go ahead. Further information.
Right. I am a Nosferatu. Information is my forte. It would have gotten to where it needed to be eventually.
Sooner the better, no? Be careful when dealing with this tower, child.
Thurston, would you mind? This table looks curious as well. Would you mind investigating this?
I'm busy disposing of the evidence. Why do I need to do that myself?
Because you're the best here at putting together clues. Information, as you said, is your forte.
Well,
Eager
you have
for your
a point
expert
there.
Your expert opinion.
I am the best one here for doing that, so I might as well, sure. And I'll take a look over the table.
And when he goes to do that,
Nothing is
I want to pull the sheriff aside for a second and I do apologize for him. You must understand, it does not mean any harm. I don't think he was trying to keep the information for himself. He's very stupid. He's not good at really anything. So while you might have seen some sort of malicious intent in what he does, I used to be much the same. I would think he was up to something, and then I realized there's not much going on there. There's no end goal. There's no nefarious plan. I believe that he has been sent to our culture as some sort of punishment for something someone here has done.
I see.
I don't want you to worry yourself or trouble the prince even with such a thing.
I mean-
Simply saying Thurston's name, usually they immediately know it. So,
Mhm. To be fair, one must be especially careful with the young, especially when they show habits in the knot in that area. Doesn't hurt.
oh no,
to-
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you do not have to be careful with him. He truly is harmless. He cannot hurt you even if you try. I've seen him try to hurt all sorts of things. It never works.
Oh, well,
You see that sword on the side? I think it's just a joke. I think someone is pulling a prank on him.
I see.
But you're doing great at the table, Thurston. You understand.
Yes, I'm the best at finding what we need to find.
Oh, you sure are. I'm sorry you have to see him like this.
All right, here we go. Wits and awareness or intelligence investigation, whichever you prefer. You do not get.
So you're gonna
two
be
dice
good
penalty.
right now just to spite us.
Could be worse.
Would you like to re-roll?
Yeah, I can do 3 of those.
So that's a messy
Oh,
crit.
I got another. Yeah, I got another messy crit.
But
This hurts. You're right. The dice hate me.
as soon as you gloat over it, though, that will end dominant compulsion. Under
you
the
can add
dining
another?
table. Under the dining table is a rotten corpse, dressed in the rotting rags of a woman. Resting upon her chest is a gold necklace and locket. As Thurston finds this and brings the corpse to bear, he finds himself hearing the beast screaming even louder than before. He knows it is a particularly out-of-place time and is able to suppress it at the cost of burning through some of his own vitae. Increase your hunger by 1.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Well, you guys are like hush hush talking to each other in the corner, and you hear a giant thud as I put the body up onto the table. Ah, yes, only I, the master of finding things, could have located this rotting, decrepit corpse underneath this table.
That's what that smell was.
Yeah, I would imagine like the heavy fabric probably would have suppressed it a little bit, but cool, probably bad. I was so like how like old is this corpse? Like is it like
Couple
heavily
weeks.
decayed and pretty much gone or
It looks almost as bad as Thurston, so
That doesn't narrow it down.
probably like a month of decay or so. There's still
Okay.
some flesh you could recognize as flesh, but there's also exposed bone. I've told Thurston about exposing his bone, but he still does it to me.
See, thumps the corpse on the table. Yeah, Alger, cool. Look at that, and then go back to the sheriff. I take it back. He's good at one thing. Is he's a penchant for finding gross things. He's always just getting into garbage or finding weird, gross filth wherever we go. He's like a puppy that gets that eats its own sick type of thing.
oh, so he's
You have to watch him, or yes, he digs up things like this all the time. But sometimes this is
Okay.
useful.
If he starts drinking from corpses, and I don't mean us corpses, I mean at funeraries and digging up graves, do let me know.
Oh, I shall. Usually just a quick pop on the nose, and then we'll straighten them right up. Feel free anytime you feel the need.
After Thurston makes the amazing discovery of the putrid corpse, I want to kind of look around for something maybe not as obvious. Maybe check the tables. Maybe see if I can feel a draft or something. If there's a trapdoor somewhere.
Would you like to inspect the corpse?
Yeah, sure. I
Do
can.
that.
Would you both like to inspect the corpse?
Sure.
Okay.
I would like to hold the handkerchief up to my mouth and go and try not to breathe in, even though I can't breathe, and say, "She was so beautiful in life." As I look over her, obviously looking for gold as well as other things.
Okay, Karen, do intelligence investigation or wits and awareness, whichever you prefer, with a +1 modifier. Wonderful. You find, somewhat enveloped by the rotting corpse and flesh, gold locket. Still shining, and obviously not rusted. You open it up and find a photograph of the woman in the same clothes the corpse is adorned with, next to a man. The couple are tenderly holding hands together, and on the back is written, Jacob Freeman.
I'll hold it out and say, "See, I told you she was pretty."
You should hold on to that. I remember hearing somewhere that items of importance to ghosts can be used against them. Perhaps that locket will be of some use to us.
I will certainly hold on to it. And I'll pocket it.
Jacob Freeman. Does this name ring any bells to you, Sheriff?
Yes, that is the inventor.
Oh, so he's a known entity.
Yes, he has been to us for some time. As I said earlier, a little paranoia is good for the soul. We were happy to provide that.
I suppose he was keeping the body in order to use it with the device to speak with his wife?
He seems to have a problem letting things go.
Apparently. You sure let her go?
Yes, well, I believe we've exhausted everything, every little avenue here. But it is good that you have the locket. That could be helpful. There's a seer that this tower has. We could take it there, but she does require a fresh set of eyes, and I do mean fresh.
Not it.
From one of us, or does any set of eyes work?
Our eyes are not fresh. Even the young one here, they are not fresh. So, in that case, if any of you have a herd member you would be willing to sacrifice, I will be able to replenish it for you within half a fortnight. Or we can just go down to
Poor side of town?
yeah.
Surely we can pick someone up off the street.
Sure, that
No
would
need.
make
I have plenty of eyes back home. I mean, I know someone who can get us eyes.
Remember, they must be fresh from the kind.
Bring more than the eyes, then it's definitely fresh.
Very well. This place, you think we should destroy it?
Oh, this individual place here? Have at it.
I can have some of my men come by and make sure an accidental fire begins.
Wonderful. We were already planning for something such as this. Take care of it, and our cleaners will do the rest.
Alright, parfait. Would you like us to meet you at the Sears place, or should we, or will you be joining us in our eye expedition?
If you will be just yanking somebody up from an alleyway, I will come along. That way I'm able to report to my superiors for another cleanup team to take care of that happening in that part of town. And then we will go to the
Yes,
sea.
perhaps that is easiest. We're already out and about. Let us see if I cannot find a volunteer.
Wonderful.
Storyteller, may I, for in a seedy part of town, may I try to find some sort of criminal element to have a chat with?
Whitson Street
Preferably
wise?
not someone who works for me.
Whitson Street wise, unless you have a suggestion for another combination.
I will take it.
All those dice are not a single success. But Thurston's the
Why-
useless one.
I'm just trying to get Thurston out of trouble. I'd rather them think he's stupid than insubordinate. Why do I have 0? Is that right? I did drain someone.
Yeah,
on
5s
accident
don't
last
count.
time. I had 0
Oh.
hunger, and I was trying to figure out if that was.
You should be back to 1 hunger at the beginning of the game.
If I made my rouse check. Or do we start at 1?
You
Start
start
at 1.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we
'cause
can
we do-
completely
okay.
discount that roll and you can roll again.
I'll do willpower. 2.
Okay. That's enough. Eventually, after walking through the slums of Southwark, you'll come across a single homeless person. You're able to convince him to come with you fairly easily just by offering free liquor or whatever of his choice. The man's name is
On my
Scott.
ankle.
The man's name is Scott and is eagerly following you in his raggedy clothes, explaining how he was a veteran of the wars, although he is very unspecific as to which wars, and the smell of alcohol is heavily on his breath.
Just to keep things easy. I don't want to get embarrassed in front of the sheriff. I will do a submerged directive. I will just say just come with me until I dismiss you for the evening.
Gain a
Over
hunger.
here. Would you like me to roll that, or is he unsuspecting mortal?
Oh, he is very much an unprepared mortal. And just follows
Okay.
you, drooling from the corner of his mouth.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll return. I have a new set of eyes for us.
Wonderful. And she'll look at the people remaining in the back seat. Scoot over, scoot over.
I don't know if there was quite any room to scoot over.
I believe
Anyway,
if you were to
oh.
lay on all of your laps, it could work out just fine. Usually, Thurston would do the stool thing, but there's no room in these sort of vehicles.
I
what
will
will you do?
attempt to scoot in up front next to Aldrich.
What breed of dog is in the trunk? In other words, how much room is left in the trunk?
Oh, I didn't actually bring the dog.
Good. You know, I could just tell him to get his happy little washed ass into the trunk and remain silent.
What? Tell him. Just shut him in there.
Yeah, I can just put him in the truck. No, not a problem. Yeah, I'll just guide him in the trunk.
So I'm just trying to get over the enthusiasm Juliet had there for, I'll just shove him in the trunk.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
a
like
little
that's like
too
the first
excited
time you
about
heard her
that.
peppy all night. Like all of a sudden she's in the field and she just like a little bit of that Malkavian excitedness is coming through that stern exterior she's been presenting.
The instructions are received by Scott. Scott will get in the trunk now. He'll just turn and tug himself neatly into the trunk in an almost impressive display of contortionism.
This is not the first time he's been in a trunk.
He might
Great
work for
Scott.
MI5.
Great Scott.
You beat me to it.
Yeah.
Great, now you're going to think
Well,
I'm copying the joke later.
No, I saw
The fact that you had a
That's
name
what I was
ready,
saying.
I'm like, there's a
Exactly.
pun that he's in the chamber. If you have an NPC name ready, it will be used against us. We're learning.
That's
Okay.
Car
Yeah.
drives off.
Juliet,
Sorry.
nope, just Juliet's driving along. Pleased little smirk on her face.
I am in the front seat at this point.
Is there anything you wish to discuss on the car journey at the blistering high speeds of 13 miles an hour through the decayed, horrible streets of London as you head towards this new seer?
I had never noticed it in the carriage before, but they really do need to do something about these roads. So many holes.
Loud, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so interesting that these horseless carriages, they have no horse or the associated smells, but boy, that noise is so much louder, and the
So
vapors.
at that point, Juliet just sort of breathes in. Industry has a nice smell to it, doesn't? And with the comment on the road, you would have noticed, she's very appropriately like weaving, some, the black tire would go, you'll bounce a little bit. She'll kind of giggle.
It's not
Supposed
very
to
luxurious. I can't imagine these things catching on.
Oh, there have been stories. I haven't seen anything happen personally. But this is in top condition, according to the mechanic, I believe. That's what they call those who work on machines and, the ones in the factories. Now they have these little things, and she taps on the dashboard.
I just hope the vapors that come out of this vehicle won't taint the blood of the kine.
Mm.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Them deaf,
Yes.
God forbid.
Perhaps we could put some kine in with one of these vehicles and just test to see how long they can inhale the vapors before suffering any ill effect.
We do have one in the trunk. Boot. We do have one in the boot.
I mean, it couldn't be any worse than tobacco, right?
I'm
Tobacco is
fairly
a
For you.
medicine. Yes. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? There?
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's all smoke of some kind.
Yeah, all smoke seems to be good. I agree.
I imagine it would be akin to someone that's passed off of gin.
Oh, you do bring up a good point. Perhaps the vapors will help stave off plague and the such.
I'm not a scientist. I will leave such things to those minds. At that, her head twitches a little bit because she's hearing like scientists in the network like talk about this, and she's just like mentally like, nope, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care.
Fun educational table of horrors fact for you. At this period of time, there were bellows along the Thames and pouches of tobacco because they genuinely believed you could resuscitate someone by shoving bellows with tobacco smoke up someone's jacksie and
So glad I'm already dead.
Tell the American what Jaxie means. I think I know, but
I think we figured it. That's where the phrase blowing smoke up their bum comes from.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Forget how educational this stream is.
Yeah. I have a related historical factoid, but it's slightly a different topic, so I will bring that up next time.
oh, what a tease. The coterie arrive on an unassuming street in the heart of London. They each exit the car as Juliet takes the lead. She brings the loose trunk containing Scott in tow with her, leading to one of the many unassuming row of houses and waiting for the rest of the coterie to catch up before she knocks on the door. They wait an almost awkward amount of time, and just before Aldrich is about to suggest an alternative means of entering, the door is opened by a man with an extravagant suit and tie, accented with wild-like white hair standing on end. His eyes wander from their feet to their eyes, and he exclaims, "Juliet! Great! Scott!"
Hello, brother. And Juliet's most definitely holding the guy, like, back of the shirt, has her arms wrapped around his, like, well, her, like, arm, like, kind of like a armbar sort of thing. And, you know, he's like, "Oh, Juliet," and she's just, "Hello, cousin. I brought you a new toy."
You need guidance, don't you, Juliet?
But it seems you already know him. I mean,
Make the head nod.
I saw him last time, but only a brief glimpse. Come! Come in! Let me hear what you need exactly. The man stands to one side, inviting Juliet and the rest of the coterie into his haven. The hallway is dilapidated, and a thick blue coat of paint still bears the paint strokes. The man with wild white hair asks the coterie to proceed into the living room and take a seat. After each member takes a seat in the barely decorated room, with thick, heavy drapes that block any light leaking in, the only light provided emanates from various gas lanterns in the room. So, Juliet!
yes. That is
What
my
do you
name.
need?
Well, this gentleman right here, and she would have dominated him to taking a seat and keeping his mouth shut. Let's see, that's gonna be this. Let's scroll down. Oh, excellent. But yeah, she'll just point to the gentleman. Yes, we need your sight. I know you have a special way to do it. I mean, I can do it myself, brother. But, you know, you have such a special way of doing it, and we need that accuracy. That spirit device phone thing. We're on that. Let us call him a gentleman, to be kind. We are on his tail.
Ah! He has a tail?
I mean, one way to find out, no?
True. And you've brought the payment with you.
Of course! What do you take me for?
Oh, very well then. Shall we step into my workshop?
I don't see why not. She'll order the gentleman to follow.
Come! All of you! It'll be fun.
I lean into Aldrich and try and keep hushed tones. What do you think he means by payment?
Hey, maybe the eyeballs? I am not sure. Seems to be of the same clan. Honestly, the sheriff is the most agreeable of this clan I've met yet. She's starting to shift, and so I don't know. I don't think this is going to be a good night for us. Hopefully, it
She's
goes better
among
for
her
us.
own. Yeah, she's among her own kind. I imagine this is what happens.
That's true. You get to, yeah.
On the way there, will we be passing the wall with the wet paint?
Yes.
I'll touch it. And when I have paint on my finger, I'll wipe it on Thurston.
I just got these washed.
No, he likes his clothes, Evelyn. Why would you do such a thing?
Well, I couldn't wipe it on mine.
Why did you touch it in the first place?
See if it was wet.
Let's turn to Thurston. I forgot that she's kind of like them too. Once you get enough of them in the same room, things just go bad.
I will take out a handkerchief and hand it to Lady Evelyn. Evelyn, please. In the future, if you need to check to see if something's wet, please use this. Thurston's clothes are much too nice to be using as rags.
Yes. Very much so.
My apologies. I often, and I'll look at him, forget.
Thurston is one of the best dressed members of our coterie.
Thank
Present company excluded.
So the whole coterie excluded. He dresses better than Alistair.
I mean, he does.
This is what the game descends into when you introduce far too many Melks at one time.
Her
Only
mouth.
half milk.
The group are led upstairs, and along the landing it has occasional pictures depicting the English countryside. The group pass a closed wooden door and stop in the middle of the landing as the man pulls a chain from the ceiling, pulling down a makeshift staircase that leads up into the roof of the house. Each person makes their way up into the attic space, which has been laid out with a large stone altar-like table at one end. Now, place Scott on the table, and tell me, in no uncertain terms, exactly what it is you wish to know.
How does everyone know this man's name? Wait, no, that's not our question.
I believe maybe his name precedes him because he is so great.
Not you too, Inspector. Miss Juliet, I presume what you are wanting to know is the location of Jacob Freeman, yes?
As he begins to ask that, Juliet is strong manning the arm onto the table. And she'll, get on the table, turn and look. Oh, yes. I believe that you all have, everything that you need. I will sit here and make sure that the tools remain pristine until needed. I will put my focus here. Converse.
And the tools, this is the only tool we'll need, Mr. Scott. You're not going to tell us anything like that's contraption of yours outside needs to go a certain miles per hour for something to work.
That's ludicrous.
Information device and the inventor, yes. And Juliet's just sitting there, like, crossed arms, just, like, very much staring at this guy, just, like, waiting.
We've already gone back in time.
You have strange company, Juliet.
We did that already.
Next they'll be asking whether or not they need lightning to strike the tower at a precise time, but we all know that lightning is highly unpredictable.
What I told you previously, I'm not a scientist. I will leave that more to you.
Well, we're here to help. So the question we would like to know, is the location of Jacob Freeman.
I should be able to discern that without too much trouble. Stay here. Wait, no. Shuffle a bit to the right.
A little to the right.
Yeah, he does it.
Perfect. Don't move from that spot. I shall go and get my spoon and we can begin.
Yeah.
Man skips off down the stairs. Is there anything you wish to talk about amongst yourselves whilst he is absent?
Was it raining when we came in here?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, because it never rains in fucking England, does it?
Yeah, no, Juliet was about to be like, no, it's almost like we never see this weather here.
It does seem fitting for the current company that a thunderstorm would accompany us as well.
It is a regular occurrence, isn't it? Thunderstorms, rainstorms, weather.
I mean,
I've heard of this device that the savages have, which is a stick that sounds like rain.
Musical. The ritualistic, I believe.
that just seems daft, Evelyn. I don't think there could ever be a thing that could reproduce the sound of rain, except for the rain itself. Next thing you're gonna tell me is somebody's figured out a way to predict when the weather's going to change.
That's just preposterous.
Man returns moments later, with a jar of chili peppers tucked under his arm, a small bag of sand, and a rusted spoon in his hand, stained with blood. He stops in front of Thurston. A little to the left.
Okay.
It's better. Come! Gather round, my children. This is going to
You
be
just had me
fascinating.
moved on.
I'll put my hands on my hips.
He starts placing the objects around the man's head. You notice he leans in to the man and begins whispering something. Aldrich, with his heightened senses, is the only one that can hear. Forget, be silent, and be calm, uttered from the man's mouth. Scott straightens up and eventually allows himself to have metal implements placed over his head, arms, and ankles. I shall begin by placing these chilies in the man's eye. I find that it helps me target exactly the precise locations of the weak spot of the socket. And he very carefully opens a jar of chilies, taking several out, before roughly jamming them into the man's eyes. Scott just lies there, barely responding, and you only notice that his hands clench to fists. This one is under the effect of alcohol, I suspect. He turns to Inspector Gray. Do you know how I can tell that, young man?
Is it something to do with his eyes? His
No, it's the
level
smell of
inebriation?
alcohol that reeks off him.
Oh, yes, sometimes I don't pay attention to how things smell. It takes effort these nights.
I noticed, considering your company. Now for the next stage. The sand. Places the bag of sand open. Takes his spoon. Dives it in. And begins to pour it into the man's eye. Would anyone care to make a castle?
I'm sorry, did you say you were a scientist?
No.
Okay.
Science
what
and
the-
science are two very different things. Each seer
Yes.
has their own method.
But of course. It's a shame our other coterie member is not here. I feel like he would love this.
I was just
But
thinking
he
the
is here.
same.
Can't you hear him?
Thankfully, no.
I'm not repeating that. He's very foul-mouthed, isn't he?
Necessarily.
Yeah, not particularly, I don't think.
Wait, if you can hear him, if you can respond to him, if you could give him directions home, that would be most useful.
Never said I could
you
respond
get
to
the
him. I just
chance.
hear him.
What is he saying?
I'm not repeating that in the presence of ladies.
Very well.
That Juliet just works as a scoff.
To answer your question, no, I do not believe we are interested in making castles at the moment. We are interested in knowing where Jacob Freeman is.
That's right. That was the question. Thank you. I've been waiting for you to remind me exactly what it was. That's why I needed you to respond. I mean, I didn't need to put the chilies and the sand in his eye. I was just trying to buy time until it came back up around again. Thank you. You need to know where the bacon is. Freeman. Jacob Freeman is, right?
There we go.
Right.
Yes. Point Aldrich's fists are probably as clenched as Scott's from getting chili in his eyes.
Got it. Got it. He leans back over and he just blows the sand out of the man's eye. You will notice is basically leaking blood. He takes a spoon and plunges it down, plucking out the eyeballs one by one. As the kindred standing over him rips the eyes away from the remaining cord still connecting them. He takes the cord into his hand and starts to slowly run pinched fingers along the length, aiming the dripping liquid under his tongue before finally slicing each eyeball open and placing it in his mouth, clamping his jaw down on each side. His eyes gloss over like glass. The room is silent as the man seems to process, and only the sounds of the room creaking around them can be heard. Until finally, he blinks, and his eyes return to their normal pale blue. He turns his head to the coterie, with a small smile on his face. There are things in the way. A dragon, an iron fire-breathing monster, darkness, change, and the dead.
That's specific.
Some Nisi, Tremere, and Lasombra come to mind on that.
It seems your man has had an interesting time. I would say you need to look in the underground train system. Perhaps near the Tower of London. Whatever you do, do not go towards the tower. Head to Tower Bridge. The construction site, obviously. The bridge hasn't been built yet. But it will be one day. But that's not for you for now. There is a chamber. You should seek him there. How you enter into the tunnel, though, I can't help with. Walking down there might be your easiest bet. Just watch out for the rats. No offense, Thurston.
Oh, I didn't realize you knew my name.
I bet Alistair told him.
Probably. Alistair does talk about me a lot. I hope he doesn't talk too much. Who am I kidding? He always talks too much.
Are you okay? Are you going crazy? Are you talking to yourself?
All right, I think that is all we need. Thank you very much. What was your name again? I don't know if I caught that.
Emmett?
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah. See your Emmett,
Emmett.
Mr. Emmett.
Von Braun?
Oh my god, if that's what that was.
We are. Yeah. Thanks. Do we leave him with you?
Scott?
Gesturing to Scott. Yes.
Looks a bit worse for wear, doesn't he? What happened to him?
Aldrich leaves.
Well, Doctor, I'm sorry, Mr. Brown, Doctor, I don't know if you're actually a doctor, but, if you don't know what to do with Scott after he's done, please, just use one of these, and I pull one of my cards out of my pocket, and I hand it to him. Just leave this with him. Someone will know what to do.
I mean, if anyone is particularly hungry.
Ew.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of spicy food.
You won't serve me at this point. But if any of you need a satiation, I won't hold it against you.
I'm quite good at the moment.
At this point, cars at this time have horns.
Pardon? Oh, cars.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
All right, you would hear a horn blaring.
Ah, the old Amon tactic.
And you'll just notice, by the way, that Dr. Von Braun is dipping his finger in the empty eye sockets and just swirling them around.
I'll rush out of the room at that point.
Yes, he'll be able to take care of things from here. Let's carry on. And once she gets to the car, Aldrich, does that horn honking mean that you would like a chance at the wheel?
No, I have to admit, no offense to you, I've not been very impressed with this. This part I like a lot, though.
Well, if you're not in the driver's seat, leave it alone. And she'll just kind of shoo him a little bit so she can get
Very
in.
well.
Gray will get in the car. Is that horn some sort of steam-powered contraption?
I don't know. It feels like there's air in there or something to the degree. I mean, there's probably wires. There's wires all over this thing. I'm not a mechanic, but air release some degree, my guess.
Interesting. It's quite a remarkable piece of engineering that it doesn't even use horses.
I do look
Can I try
forward to
one?
when these will come. Yes, madam.
At least powered by a
I'll
gigawatt.
reach over and honk the horn for a really long time.
Rapid reflection, she's going to stop you. No, we have to continue on. Can't draw attention to ourselves.
Very well. To the underground, then. Thurston, I believe this is your favorite terrain.
I wouldn't say favorites. It is annoying to have to clean the bottoms of my pants every time I use the passageways, but
Evelyn, don't you
I
have
do know
boots
my
just
way.
for this?
no, they wouldn't match with my outfit.
No, Evelyn, I think she bought the boots just for walking in the sewers. We need to go get those first. I guess we won't be in the sewer. We'll be in the underground construction site.
They're back in the carriage.
We were warned of rats. I think we can't deal with.
Haven't
Okay.
we been here before? Storyteller, haven't we been here before? Is this where we went on the very
Rand
first
is a
episode?
Michi.
Yeah, okay.
And at that bombshell, we'll take a break. And we shall be right back.
I'm assuming because this is late 19th century London, the trains aren't running at night.
They do.
They do.
Just far less frequently. And yes, they are steam trains, so you don't need to worry about any electric rails.
Just about getting run over.
Yeah, it's a bit hazardous to your health.
It hurt. Might mess my dress up.
As the group approaches, Juliet will do the standard, scanning with the sense the unseen.
You'll find nothing particularly suspicious around the train station. Nothing stands out to you. As far as you can tell, it's just a train station.
At least on the outside.
I should warn you, Sheriff. We have been near this area before. If you've read our reports to the Camarilla, back when we first were formed as a coterie, there was a Zemichi operating in this area. The warning your friend gave us to beware of rats should, I think, be heeded very much so.
And
But I have heard the Zemichi can make quite monstrosities out of otherwise mundane things.
yeah, there's a reason we don't associate with them too much, but keep eyes where we can. And storyteller, has Madam Sheriff here gotten any sort of information about things that went wrong at this location regarding this coterie?
How can I diplomatically phrase it? Ish. They fancy themselves more important than they actually are.
Us?
Weird.
Oh, the young, they will learn eventually.
A secret we never learn.
I believe most successful individuals are lifelong learners. One can never stop learning. If you stop learning, you stop growing.
Sad.
Very wise of you, Inspector. Very wise indeed. As we progress, I'm going to I don't like surprises at all. I'm going to do a bit of scouting, if you. And can I use feral whispers to try to contact some rats in the area?
Yep, absolutely.
Rouse. Would you like to see feral whispers?
Yes, please.
Mostly saying that for myself, because I also have not used this power much.
I do wish it was
Okay.
easier to read that on your character sheet.
Yeah. The one thing the new sheets do a little bit of a better job at. Show the information, you just can't do anything with it. So essentially, I want to ask them to just sort of scurry ahead in the direction we're going and either report back or make a ruckus if they run into anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Specifically, other dangerous rats.
Do manipulation and animalism for me, please. Or charisma and animalism, sorry, to summon X amount of rats.
Ooh, good at the summoning. Actually, I'll rouse that. Ooh.
I mean, you get a small amount of rats for that. A small amount of rats will probably be like 5 or 6, in fairness.
Okay.
And
Then, yeah, we'll just try to convince them to do that.
then do manipulation and animalism for me, please. Wonderful.
4.
A group of 6 rats come scurrying out of the tunnels, using their own bodies as a ladder to reach up from the platform and run around and circle around Aldrich's feet. They stop, look up at him, and scurry back off down the tunnels ahead, squeaking as they go.
Okay, hey, listen for a ruckus. They're instructed to warn us should anything be waiting.
Very good.
I
And-
would
Go ahead.
I would like to use my heightened sense. Just try to keep an ear and eye.
Are you sure you want to do that? Because if a train
Oh,
comes
this is-
passing by,
Yeah, so I was just thinking,
Ow.
assume I need to
No.
roll something when a train inevitably comes passing by since I can't turn mine off.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I won't.
Although, I'd be able, with some crafty sictitude, to maybe not stop my hearing, but mess with the ear canal to make it to where my hearing's just where I'm not quite deaf, but just about. Essentially sacrificing my hearing, but also saving my hearing for.
yeah, I've got no
inevitable
issue with you
train.
doing that. If you want to roll for that, please.
That's a change I could probably make more a little internally, so it won't be obvious.
Exactly.
Rousing,
Kindred earplugs.
pretty much.
So your
Now-
canals will
I'm
be...
happy with this.
You'll have willed your vitae to the insides of your ears, turning your ear canals narrower and narrower, almost as narrow as a propane salesman from Texas's urethra.
Wondering where you were going with that, and that's not where I expected.
Now, if I did use heightened senses, wouldn't I be able to hear the train coming in time to stop using it before it was on top of me?
Maybe. 30-ish mile an hour train.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and use heightened senses. What do I have to lose, right?
What?
Exactly.
Prove of half this coterie going deaf.
What?
Knowing that there is at least a fiend in this air carrying the premonition from her fellow, and that these coterie has not the best history here, she will go ahead and browse for her toughness. That's failed. I get to reroll it. Okay, excellent. Good. Okay, yeah. So that's up. Her silence of death is up as well.
Excellent. So would you like to proceed straight into the tunnels?
Sure.
No, but I guess so.
It's that time.
The subterranean rail tunnel is damp and humid from steam, and the insides blackened from soot. Sounds of water slowly dropping, and rats scurrying for food eerily whispers all around the tunnel, bouncing off the walls and reverberating through their heads. The coterie gather themselves and proceed cautiously along the tunnel, pinning themselves to the wall each time a train passes. As they progress, they finally find a smaller offshoot tunnel with an iron sign hanging over it, marking it as the Thames, their target.
All right. Brave Thurston leads the way.
Of course. Yeah, go ahead.
The coterie confidently walk through the tunnel, noticing that the small water level that runs through the centre groove is slowly becoming faster and deeper as they proceed. As they proceed onwards, they notice the squeaking of rats gets louder and louder. Rat's giving you a warning. Anything you'd like to do before I proceed with the narration?
If I'm not mistaken, I think that is a sound of danger approaching. Prepare yourselves.
Yes, I hear some rats making a ruckus.
Yeah. Now that we're deeper and in possibly Nosferatu territory, et cetera, et cetera, another scan was since the unseen.
Strangely, nothing. However, you all notice several glowing yellow dots bobbing up and down, getting larger and larger as they approach, until finally you see the ghastly visage of several giant Sumatran rats charging at you full force.
Oh, not these again.
As far as I remember, Sumatran rats are not supernatural.
Get him away! Get him away!
Probably just the messengers in the eyes for those that remain here. They don't.
No, they intend to destroy us. I'll roll up my sleeve for my rat punching hand.
Case. From under her jacket, she'll pull out a nice stiletto knife. Ready for combat. Very quickly, she grabs it.
Aldrich, what are you doing?
As per usual, he's going to let everyone else throw themselves in the fray, and then he will select his target.
Probably have known that, but I did.
As Juliet pulls out the knife, sort of catching eye contact with her, and then glancing towards Thurston at his sword, and just mouthing like, "Okay, watch and see."
Juliet, as our honoured guest, you may take the first turn of combat.
Just getting that roll set up.
I start humming low.
Like, or are you standing up straight?
Let's see. You know what? Since we're going into combat, she has a reputation to uphold. We're gonna go ahead and rouse the dexterity.
Okay.
No modifiers. Boom.
That's roll 20 messing up. Please roll again. I know for a fact you have more dice than that in dexterity and melee.
Yeah, why did it do it twice?
Yeah, hold on. Oh, no. I was rousing for her dex before actually doing the roll.
Oh, just do the rouse check.
Yeah. So it looks like she passed? Yeah. Cool. So. These rolls. Oh, that's that many. Wait, does she? No, she doesn't have any specialties for that. There we go.
Jinkies. The rat is going to blindly try and, unsuccessfully, I can tell you, bite back. Oh. Well, that's
Successfully, huh?
Yeah, that's not as unsuccessful as I first thought. I'm sorry. You can still re-roll though.
Yeah. I like where her willpower is at. Okay, not sure.
Well,
Oh, sadness.
Underneath the willpower tracker, the WP re-roll button.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because you want to re-roll like up to 3.
like 3 dice. You
Yeah.
got like 3 1.
There we go.
Oh, much better. There you go.
Time.
So that's going to go to you. as the aggressor. As you allow one of the rats to sprint forth and pounce upon you, you get off a quick glancing blow, slicing it open slightly on the side as you dodge out of the way. The rat lands and gives you a particularly evil look and hiss. Eveline.
My hum turns into a song, which is Great King Rat by Queen that hasn't been written yet. I start singing at the closest rat.
Do a rouse check for me, please.
Did I click the right thing? That's not. I wanted to use Death of the Drum. Sorry. Still needs a rouse check.
And I think this rat is going to unsuccessfully try and bite you.
I'd like to do a willpower reroll. Can I do 3? Oh yeah, I can definitely do 3.
Lovely. Eveline tightens her vocal cords and lets rip with a vitae-charged blast of supersonic speed and song, striking the rat head on and knocking it dazed back. Next.
That did some damage to it, right?
Gray would take a knife out from behind his vest and he'd throw it at the rat. Or one of the rats.
Okay. Dexterity and athletics, please.
Are we fighting 1 or 2 rats?
6.
We're fighting 6 rats?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And this rat is going to try and nibble on your toes. And it was +3 for the throwing knives, or +2?
+2.
+2. 6. Lovely. Inspector Gray pulls out one of his knives from inside his jacket. It glistens off the reflecting gaslight, and throws it, directly impacting one of the rat's paws. Thirsty boy?
Yeah, I'll look to Aldrich, knowing that he always goes last. And I will go up to the rat that Juliet attacked, and I will attempt to finish it off. I'm going to rouse. Drinks. Good modifier. Yay. Oh wait,
All
hold
it
on.
can
I need to
do
redo
is
that.
dodge.
I didn't add the +2 for rousing. Cool. Even better or the same, but if I fail, I get the beast. Yes.
No, you didn't, so you're alright. With the sword, that's +3 for your sword, isn't it?
No, +2.
+2.
Mine's just a little dingy sword. It's nothing special.
Lovely. Thurston unsheathes his sword and instantly skewers one of the rats, cleaving it in 2. It twitches as it falls to the ground, with blood seeping out and flowing into the river that runs down the centre of the tunnel. And Aldrich.
The one inspector, that one's still alive, correct?
Yes.
Are any of them dead?
1.
Thurston just killed one, yeah. All right, just double checking. Eldrick's feeling a little uncomfortable because he doesn't have his dog with him. He can't really use the extent of his powers because of the present company. So feeling a little handicapped in this, but he's gonna head towards the one that tried to nibble Inspector's toes. Say he charges extra for that. He's gonna go to smash him.
Yeah. Strength, roll. And all it can do is dodge. Or attempt to.
That doesn't look right.
Correct. Wow.
I like the other one better.
Even with willpower, it's gonna be bestial probably.
Unless someone in the chat can send you a reroll.
That's right. At least it's on a
Gagging.
dodge, so I'm not gonna get hurt on it.
Sticking with it then?
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that.
I think we'll make it easy for you. As Aldrich attempts to swing at the rat, unfortunately missing, his giant fists impact on the stone wall, knocking one of the bricks out of place. The beast inside of him screams for attention. Aldrich performs all actions, not immediately resulting in someone or something getting harmed, at a 2 dice penalty to his pulls. This compulsion ends when he has incapacitated, destroyed, or driven something away. If you are suffering from the harm compulsion. Nice easy one for you to play through. So 1, 2, 3. Those 3 rats can't do anything. But one of the rats is going to go charging at Eveline and attempt to nibble on her ankles. You can dodge or you can punch. Well, punch and attack. But I would sacrifice your attack for the next time.
I would. Yeah, I'm gonna dodge.
Okay,
Which I do so
dexterity.
rarely, so I don't actually know what that's dexterity and athletics.
Yeah.
No, I'm not too bad at that.
Sticking with it?
Not when you say it like that.
How's are you sticking with it? Kind of creeps me out.
Are
Eveline.
you sticking with it?
That's going to Eveline. Eveline attempts to get out of the way of the rat zeroing in on her. Unfortunately, she is not swift enough, and the rat is able to just about get in a quick scratch from its few remaining paws, and does a whole 1 superficial damage to Eveline.
Fuck you, rat. I like the stress.
This little rat, he was good friends with the rat that Thurston killed. They had a life together. They used to go drinking. They had plans to open a bar together. And so he's quite distraught that Thurston killed his friend. So he's going after Thurston. How would you like to respond, Thurston?
I will dodge.
Dexterity and athletics. I'm gonna
Yeah,
reroll.
fuck you, rat. Fuck you, rat.
Yeah.
The rat is distraught as he looks over at his friend cleaved in 2. You can't understand. Oh no, Thurston can understand him because he's speaks to animals. Oh, I got a reroll for the
You
rat.
gave the rat a reroll!
Thanks.
What did I do, can do?
Still wasn't good enough.
Fuck you, rat.
can do. Yeah.
Thurston can understand the rat in mourning for his friend, lamenting the loss of Roland, and says, "We were going to open a bar. We had the great name for it, the Big Cheese. What has the man done to you?" And goes charging forth at Thurston, who is quickly and easily able to get out of the way. Last remaining rat is going to go for Juliet. He sees the knife and hasn't got a decent enough backstory to go after Juliet, so he's just like, "I don't like the look of that knife. It's big and scary, so I'm just going to try and eat you." How would you like to respond?
Juliet will go ahead and attack. Makes sense. She's next in the initiative anyway.
That will mean you
These
can't
are just
attack on your
rats.
next turn.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, she's not gonna dodge rat because, I mean, she's a sheriff, and this coterie needs to understand that one is not to mess with one fellow sheriff. So, let me get that wrong.
Gonna re-roll.
All right,
Definitely
now
gonna
I'm starting to
reroll.
feel bad for the rat.
Okay. The rat goes charging in and leaps up into the air, attempting to attach itself to Juliet's face, as if she was some sort of evil Japanese ninja master. Unfortunately, she is far too quick and is able to impale the rat on the pointy end of her stiletto knife. Before the rat is even able to make impact upon her, it drops to the floor, dead. So let's go. Eveline!
So we've got 4 rats still alive?
Yep.
And how many of those are injured?
2.
I would like to scissor one of the injured rats.
Dexterity, melee. And, this rat is offended that you haven't bought him dinner, so he's not going to attack you back. He's just going to try and dodge your scissoring unsuccessfully. Very unsuccessfully.
I re-rolled 3 of those, by the way, so I've got 7.
I know.
And the scissors are a +2.
I know. Eveline takes out her scissors, we know not from where, and lunges forth at the rat, immediately clipping it in 2. The 2 halves drop to the floor, blood leaking into the water as both halves twitch before finally settling down to nothingness. Who would you like to scissor, Inspector Grey?
I will take out one of my knives, and I will throw the knives at the other injured rat.
Okay, dexterity and athletics.
Yep.
This little rat of mine,
Oh.
I'm going to let it shine. Damn. Very nice. Inspector Grey takes out another one of his knives and with great skill and guile throws it towards the rat incoming, successfully striking it in the side, impaling it as it slowly comes to a halt with blood gushing out of it, and finally coming to an innocent halt dead at the base of his feet. Thurston.
Is the rat that tried to attack me still alive? Oh. Then I guess I will just attack the closest rat.
Okay. With your sword.
Yes, sir. Nice check. Hunger Game. Cool.
What's the rouse check for?
Just rousing the attack.
Oh, okay.
Thurston wants to be aroused as he attacks. And this rat is going to try and bite you back. Unsuccessfully. That is just enough for Thurston to take out his sword. And without even thinking, impales another one upon his blade, slicing the head straight off, putting his boot on it and retracting the blade. Aldrich, one rat remains.
Whole sense of worth is on the line here. As Thurston's killed 2, and he just made a fool of himself trying to punch 1. So he's really I'm rousing. He's got to put everything in this last rat smash. There we go. There's his anger.
It is going to attempt to dodge.
These damn rats.
Quick buggers.
I'll go easy on you because otherwise it's going to be a pain in the ass. And I'll say he tried to attack you, not dodge.
Could do either. The fist is a +2 as well, so it might still be enough.
Yes! Wonderful. Aldrich kneels down, waiting for the rat to come charging at him with his open hand. As soon as the rat steps foot upon his gnarled, bestial hand, he instantly crushes it, with pieces of flesh, rat brain, and eyeball oozing between his fingers, and discards the corpse, throwing it down and letting it flow into the river, drifting away.
Can I pick up one of the more intact rat pieces and give it a look? I'm gonna help a notice. I sent 6 rats out. 6 rats returned. If these are those and something happened to them, or if these are new ones.
These are very different rats. These are chihuahua-sized rats.
Okay. I just didn't know. All right. So it doesn't seem like something actively warped these things up ahead.
Correct. They had a slightly different accent to the rats that you sent in.
Got it. Right. Nah. I mean, I'm French. Right. A nasty bit of business there, but let us proceed.
The coterie leave the ravaged corpses of the monstrous rats behind them and follow the tunnel onwards, noticing that it slowly descends downward. They come to the end of the tunnel and find their way blocked by an iron grate that gives an overlook into a large open chamber that seems almost familiar to them. The iron grate blocks your path forwards, by the way, just in case that wasn't obvious enough.
And we do not have our resident door person. Does anyone else give it a shot, or did I try to force my way through?
I can try picking the lock. I have some experience with that.
By all means. Assuming
go-
it's a type that's like a gate with a lockpick, right?
I'll go up and try to pick the lock.
Okay. Dexterity lastly, please.
I will do a willpower reroll.
Much better.
That's this.
Inspector Gray.
S-
Sorry.
6 dice in. 0. I can't accept that.
Inspector Gray uses his lock-picking tools to deftly open the grate, finding it slightly elevated above the floor. He finally manages to open it up, and the coterie drop a few feet down, landing on their feet in the chamber, apart from Eveline, who insists on being helped down. The coterie scan their surroundings, looking at the bare walls of brick, catching sight of the 2 entrances into the chamber. They see a large bloodstain over a metal grill, and they recall the chamber was the location of the Tzimisce they had previous encounters with, and know exactly which way to proceed in order to progress further into the strange area, and which way leads back to the Thames and the way out. Is there anything you wish to discuss before? I assume you're going to walk onwards rather than just turn around and be all like, "No, fuck this game."
I'm
Hey,
gonna
Sheriff.
walk. I'm gonna insist Aldrich carries me.
Very well. It's only the polite thing to do. Thurston, I don't want to see you looking at her ankles.
How fresh is...
Sheriff, during your investigation into this individual, do you have any reason to believe he would have sought the aid of or found the company of a sword-dwelling Tzimisce?
Perfect timing, because I was just about to ask the storyteller and setting this up if I can do an intelligence and streetwise on this Haven individuals, etc.
You don't need to roll for this. In and of itself, it would be a success because this coterie themselves reported that it was being used by Tzimisce. Mithras had it investigated and found that it was abandoned at the time. As for associations between Jacob Freeman and the Tzimisce, you know of none.
Not too much. I am curious, though. Themes of this nature don't tend to fall under my jurisdiction. I tend to show up when things go south, or just before they go south to ensure that they do not.
It worries me that someone potential mastery over the spirits would be working with someone with mastery of the flesh. I don't like this.
Not to my knowledge. What I know of the fiends, most of it I've heard through my own little network. They used to have some things, curious things, things that not even I could do or my predecessors. So there is some concern. Things like to seem like they have vanished, only to be not used for a long period of time.
If I remember, we did not chase out the previous occupant. I'm not sure if what we ran into were remnants of them, or if they are still active down here. So, Thurston, you may get your chance at a round 2, as they say. I know last time you did not go as well.
True.
All right, onward then.
The blood that's on the ground, is it, how fresh is it?
Not very fresh at all. It's been there for about 8 months.
Okay, then, never mind.
Huh. Does math.
Is that how you were in maths class as well? Like, given long multiplication. Huh. Does maths.
I'll let you know I aced math class doing that.
Don't get cocky, kid.
Key phrase during that.
Doing that, yeah.
Coterie cautiously walk through the doorway into the strange lab that is behind the main open structure. The heavy smell of blood lingers in the air like acrid smoke, and as they round the corner, the sight of some strange, almost hospital-like setup greets them. Aldrich is almost envious of the entire setup, and then a familiar voice echoes through the white blood-stained tiled room. Ah, Aldrich, my cousin. It has been a long time. I feel like I'm saying, hey, Nick, hey, Aldrich, do you want to go bowling? Gonna drop that voice. It has been a long time since our last encounter. I was starting to think you had forgotten me. What brings you and your companions here tonight? And a man in a strange purple silk robe walks into the middle of the floor. Either side of him are two strange, large lumps of bubbling flesh. And you recognize the Zamitsi from your encounter at Christmas, and the one that opened the business opposite your own.
When he addresses Aldrich like that, Juliet's eyebrows just very slowly raise as high as they can, looks to him, nods, stored away information. Head goes back and very carefully takes in this gentleman, as it seems.
Oh, Aldrich, for a second, tries to weigh the risks of tampering with the memories of a Malkavian sheriff. Instead, he will deal with the task at hand.
And Alistair here.
We are looking for a Mr. Jacob Freeman. We were told he was here.
Ah, and of course, that's why you bring a sheriff to my doorstep.
The sheriff is the
would've
one
been
looking
coming
for this
anyway.
man.
You seem to be moving up in your little society. Do you often hang around with... Sorry?
You're familiar? And did not know you were privy to our politics up above.
It was Sun Tzu who said it is best to know thy enemy.
So
Such a
look to the
repulsive
sheriff.
name.
To them. So we are enemies then. It's just such a warm greeting.
The sheriff most certainly is. But you are family. Let's go bowling!
Ugh.
Enemies nonetheless. I believe that there is some shred of recognizing the importance of hospitality. If I to understand that correctly.
It is our way, is it not? Not all of us have forgotten the true meaning of a Cainite society.
One of the few reasons I personally do not wish to burn you all in your havens.
Well then, perhaps we can discuss things like civilized immortals.
I'll pull up a chair. No, wait. No, I won't.
So this Jacob Freeman, is he under your hospitality at the moment?
The scientist is not one of my guests, no. He has provided great interest to me, though.
Why would our investigation of him lead us here?
Mortals make terrible guests, but excellent pets.
I believe Mr. Freeman was paranoid. Rightfully so. He knew he was being closed in on, so he went into hiding. Or better to hide than a place like this. Am I correct in this?
Seeking sanctuary is something I could offer someone who offered something particularly of interest to me. Communications
So he sought you
device.
out specifically.
It was a mutual seeking.
What was this you said about pet? Don't
Well-
see how pets fall under protection for sure, but not hospitality. Have you spirited him away and let us store him away for your twisted little experiment?
There's nothing twisted about communicating with the dead. It was his own experiment anyway. In time, it could prove to be most useful. Why waste it with mortals? They'll only squander the power.
Well, Sheriff, are you in the mood to bargain for your quarry? Or will we be enacting the justice of the tower?
It would seem that we would have to, because the way it sounds, this one here has done an embrace within the lands of this court. I do not believe the prince has given one such as yourself permission to do so. So please, present him to us, even if he is dead. Well, not such as us. But please, let us at least see him in whatever form he is in, so that if this accusation is incorrect, well,
I can assure you he has not been embraced. He is far too useful to me with a pulse. But as
Alright,
for
what
seeing
sort
him,
of
I don't like to share my toys.
even one such as himself is not such a monster that he would embrace another without the proper permission.
Yes, something like that.
don't remember this one's name being on any roster of mine.
Names are so easy to change, and change comes so easily to our kind. Today I feel like a Nikolai. Tomorrow I may feel like an Andre.
You changed him into.
Listen, some of us do have our ways. Yes. Sort of toy have you made this one into?
For now, he is in his boring but still malleable form.
So then he is your prisoner.
No. He is my pet. He amuses me greatly. And when his work is complete, then I shall decide his final fate.
He'll look at the rest of them and be like, you do have a mission from the tower to do any means necessary to acquire this one. And I am here to assist, am I not?
Simply waiting on your cue, Sheriff.
Oh,
Unless
That-
Nikolai, was it currently? Is there any bargain you're interested in striking for access to Mr. Freeman and his machine?
yes, you will have one opportunity to make it good before I let these fellows blow off some steam.
Marshmallows?
Blowing
tonight,
off
at
steam? I believe you should negotiate with my own companions. And the man, Nikolai, will turn and walk away as you notice 2 pieces of bulbous flesh at either side of him begin bubbling more violently and slowly expanding, growing, until you are presented with 2 particularly large, fleshy monsters made up of various limbs and faces, growling and standing before you. I was going to have a
Really
sound effect
starting
for
to
that,
hate
but I thought
Sunitsi.
not to.
Squishy. So these are just lumps of flesh?
They were. Now they're 2 Vojts.
Can they be
This is
driven
what's-
insane?
No.
No, we will not be able to affect the minds of such creatures. So I've heard.
Destruction's the only answer.
Well, Aldrich, we know how it turned out last time we tried to fight one of these. Would you like to do the honors?
Absolutely.
Please show us how it is done then. We did
Fair
not
enough.
fare so well, and that was against just 1 last time.
Would Dex still be roused? Would this still be considered that same scene or no?
I'll give you the advantage for this because I think you're going to need it, so yes.
Aw. Stabby. Stabby.
I didn't know you could name your macros and they'd pop up on there.
Yeah, I saw.
You know what? Because this is this is bean shit. I'm gonna spin a wheel. Okay. Mark it.
And
Excellent.
the mass of flesh will attempt to dodge. Let me just count out the dice. 4, 5,
Kind do use the reroll for a rat
7.
right after we fought a.
This is what happened last time, and I got hit in the face with it.
Probably got hit in the face by a face.
I think that's what it was. And
Oh! Just to Juliet. Juliet unsheathes her sword and runs it straight through the mass of flesh before her, scraping off the side and causing blood to slowly leak out of the wound. Who would like to go next?
oh, thanks.
I
Just
will.
note, as the slash finishes, she'll just use her rapid reflexes to basically impale the flesh, skewer, so she keeps fighting and some of this is on it. She has plans to take it back to her camp people. She has, but yes, please continue. Sorry.
Just stabby the other one with scissors. And I would like to rise the blood for that. Which I very rarely do. So does that add a +1?
What's your blood potency, 1 or 2?
Just 1.
Adds 2.
It adds 2. Okay.
If Aldrich sees her going for the other one, he would yell out for the next one. It's been enough gang fights.
I'm
Should
gonna
try
do-
to overwhelm one at a time. It's our best shot at this.
Ew.
Oh.
No, I went for the other one. I ignored Aldrich.
No, after he sees that, he would say that, which he'll probably still ignore, but that would be his advice.
That was my reroll. That was the critical, by the way.
I was with scissors, right?
Yes.
Okay.
+2.
Yeah. Eveline takes her scissors and doesn't even bother opening them as she goes clawing at the other monster, simply stabbing it continuously over and over, drawing small amounts of blood from the creature as it barely notices her, but still does a fair significant amount of damage to it.
Impressive.
Next.
I will try to throw a dagger at one of the blocks, and I will rouse my blood before I do that.
Should warn you, these are not nerfed Vozhd.
Trying to bait me into going horde form. Trying to make me choose whether I die from the Camarilla or the Vozhd.
We don't have Alistair to wipe her memory either.
I can do that. If we're alive.
I'm just going to try and look. Oh wait, that was a range thing, so yeah, that's fine. 1, 3. Which Vozhd was it? The one that Eveline's stabbing, or the one that Aldrich?
Yeah, the one. Well, whichever one looks the most hurt. I guess the one Aldrich's going after.
Aldrich's not going after one yet, is he?
It's true.
Yeah, he was sort of saying like everyone focused on one, and then Evelyn just went ham on the other one. So he'd be like, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll do that. We'll take that."
Okay,
one.
the one that Eveline is going ham on is the one I will attack. Sorry.
Lovely.
The other one, she's fine.
Inspector Grey takes out one of his knives, noticing he forgot to pick the remaining ones up from the rats before, and throws it skillfully at one of the many heads upon the Vozhd's body. Directly hitting it in between the eyes, the Vozhd lets out a strange, pained growl. Next.
There's an Aldrich just looking at each other.
You first? No, you.
Damn it.
You.
You did very well last time. Very well. I'll go in. Thurston more than proved himself in the last fight. Definitely rousing. Just because I'm terrified of these, I'm just gonna start burning willpower. I'm gonna use willpower. I can reroll 3 of them. Yeah. So 7.
And your fist is +2 or +3?
+2.
It's 2. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Aldrich leaps forward and, using his flesh-crafted fist, punches pieces of the fleshy monster away, seemingly doing significant damage to it as pieces of face, eyes, arm and leg go flying. The creature seems incredibly hurt and lets out more strained howls of pain. Taking us to Thurston. The cowardly Thurston.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of get up beside Aldrich, trying not to get in his way, and I'm gonna see if I can just, without getting too close to it, just give it a little pokey poke.
Strength melee.
Nice.
I can't even re-roll that.
It's messy.
But it's messy critical on our enemies.
True.
You rolls critical if it's messy.
Mm-hmm.
Only time Thurston rolls well.
You could re-roll the 2 1s and see if you can get even more of a critical.
You're right. You know what? I'm gonna do exactly that.
We should, yeah, burn
Yes.
everything for this because these things are terrifying.
Oh,
Hmm. 7 successes.
consider me impressed.
So we rolled
Thurston
amazing.
unsheathes his sword and, taking Aldrich's example, continuously stabs at the mass before him, slicing, stabbing, and finally, as he runs his blade through one more time, the creature, seemingly exhausted, falls to a pile of blood and mass in front of him.
There'd be a single blood tear running down Aldrich's cheek. I am never been so proud of this coaster in my life.
As Thurston does so,
Sheriff, how are
however,
you doing with yours?
You just hear slash shunk, slash shunk. Satisfied deep chuckle, slash shunk.
But what's Juliet doing?
Leaning into one of her favorite things, swordplay. Gonna make that roll again.
Oh, hang on.
Uh-oh.
As
Yeah, the rat.
Thurston watches the creature finally die, he feels the beast scratching inside of his skull. Thurston feels paranoid. The blood is eagerly scratching at him, making him feel very much aware of his situation, of this 10-foot tall monster in front of him. Any action not taken to the immediate end of ending the perceived threat, suspected or real, incurs a 2 dice penalty, and this compulsion will end when Thurston has spent roughly an hour in a safe spot. You are suffering from the paranoia compulsion.
Just to paint the scene a bit better, I stabbed it really good, but it is still alive, correct?
No, that one died.
Oh, okay. Then it's going to, I guess, a bit of it spurts blood in Thurston's direction, and he lets out a small little yelp in a voice that I don't think you've heard Thurston do before, and he steps back.
I was almost
The
so
voice
proud
sound
of
like?
this coterie.
I don't even think I could make that noise.
The one remaining Vojt lurches forward, bearing down on Aldrich, and starts swinging and flailing wildly at it. How would you like to respond? That's you, Aldrich.
Oh, it's sorry, cut out. What did you say?
Sorry. The Vojt is coming for you.
Oh, yeah, they do that. Yeah, it's nothing to do but brace myself and try to punch back harder.
Okay.
I'm aroused for it. And that's willpower. Whoops. Ooh, that makes it a crit, actually.
Yeah.
So 8.
Baka. So proud of myself because I rolled 7.
Ice are with us. This is. They knew. They knew we needed this.
They're with us, but they still know how to screw me over.
Aldrich clenches his beast-like fist as the creature lurches forward and gets a rounding success, hitting it straight in one of its many chins. It seems taken aback and almost offended. Which brings us to Juliet. Disappointed because you're going to just kill this thing in 2 goes. And I'm just...
I mean, kind of expected it, but with it going for, a cousin of its master, back is to her. So, again, she's going to lead into one of her favorite pastimes of swordplay and go for it. Okay, so that's going to be
dirty melee.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's melee. Yeah, let's go crit vision. Do core. Mark that. No
Juliet
crit. Totally.
attempts to go charging in. Perfect form and poise with her rapier. Is it rapier I gave you, or bladed weapon?
Since
Making-
Stila Wither has a sword as well, that's Gucci.
Making perfect strikes and sweeps. Unfortunately, the Vod is able to move certain parts of his body, so Juliet only makes contact with thin air.
Roll.
1 more. 9. I got 3 crits. I like these dice. Eveline!
Yet again, I begin to scream, to sing, scream, a little of both. And I would like to rouse the blood.
Okay. And a rouse check for death of the drum.
Rouse check for death.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Go for it.
Really? I'll die. I re-rolled in 3.
I've
I have
rolled
no
3
willpower by the
crits,
end
so
of
you
this.
should.
Yikes.
Eveline wills
like your
Vitae
dice.
to her larynx. I'm loving these dice. Wills Vitae to her larynx and lets rip with a sonic boom that goes forth across the entire room, kicking up various sheets and surgical instruments. Unfortunately, the VOD is able to split itself in 2, and a sonic boom merely passes through the center of mass without touching it. Spectre Grey.
I will take a throwing knife. I will throw it at, actually, no. I'm going to hold on to that knife for now. And I will, use Scorpion's Touch, and I'll prepare to, spit it. So I guess that'll take a while.
Yep.
Do we have that many turns left?
Yep.
Alrighty. Do I have to
See.
roll anything?
Do the rouse check
when
for now,
Okay, yes.
and then gain the hunger, and then when we go around the next one, you do dexterity and blood sorcery, I think, to do the spit, and then
I
it
think
becomes a
so.
contest of strength and blood sorcery versus the creature's stamina and occult.
Okay.
And basically, that huge wall of text there is basically just to say, do dexterity and I think it's dexterity and blood sorcery to hit.
Yeah.
Dexterity and
Okay.
athletics, yes, is standard. So it's dexterity and athletics to hit, which is the standard. And then
And
It turns into
do
a
the-
contest of strength, blood sorcery versus stamina and occult. And they've written War and Peace to just say that. Aldrich, you punched. So, Thurston.
I'm going to go back into a shadow, and I'm going to cast Unseen Passage.
Do a rouse check for me, please.
You're brave. Hey.
And that's all I'm going to do.
Yep. Well, he could be obfuscating to come back in for the stealth attack. We don't know.
Totally what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, he
Bravely
could be playing it like the Asamite.
Bravely running away.
Yeah. And this mass of flesh
Tactical retreat.
is not going to stop in its relentless pursuit and attack of Aldrich. I'm sorry. And it's going to come flailing wildly and blindly at him. Come on.
Yeah, attack back. Surely I will keep rolling spectacularly and my luck will not run out. Let's rouse.
Yeah, we're in the same boat.
There it is. Still gonna willpower to take slightly less damage, hopefully, here. Okay, I'll take that. 6.
I rolled 4 crits.
As one does.
I said I rolled 4 crits, and then there was a strike of thunder. Oh, shit. And you rolled 6, which does help a lot. Okay.
I gotta eat a real venture and get some fortitude.
Oh, hang on. I've got to do the maths. Okay. This hit was worth it. I'm sorry. The creature comes lumbering forward, smashing relentlessly at Aldrich, throwing him back as his body crumples into a wall. And you take 10 superficial damage.
Is that after it's halved?
Bodge don't deal half damage.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They sure don't. Aldrich and Torpor.
Even with aggravated?
Mm-hmm. It's got 5 health.
But that's just superficial.
Well, yeah, but it'll
Yeah, superficial for
aggravated.
5, and then it carries over for another 5, and that fills me up.
You got first and
Yeah. I think this is the first aggravated damage Aldrich even took, actually, so he felt it. Yeah, Aldrich's out.
They use these more often. What's next? I feel really bad. Yes, before you say it, Kendu. Yes, I genuinely do feel really bad.
I think Juliet's next.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, that attack missed. She hissed viciously. She doesn't like these things because she can't put her dominate into them, but she also doesn't like them because they're quicker than her, and how dare they be quicker than her? So I'm gonna try with that same attack again. Thank you, blood potency rouse. Alright, let's try to probably gonna spend. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm spinning the willpower. Curse you,
It's
digital
storming
dice.
here. It knew.
Oh yeah, it's been trying to here. We're in monsoon season in Arizona.
I think we're finally getting that typhoon rolling in.
Oh, son of a... Okay. Total of 4.
plus side,
Didn't roll a crit.
I didn't. Not a single one. Juliet, unperturbed by the sight of her former comrade being thrown against the wall and seemingly dying, only more determined to do damage, and successfully runs her sword through, stabbing the creature several times and letting blood seep out onto the floor. Eveline.
Seeing Aldrich crumple to the floor, I let out a wail. And I'd like to rouse the blood.
Okay. And another rouse check for Death of the Drum.
Check. Go.
Yeah, add your hunger after you've rolled Death of the Drum.
Oh shit, that's right. There we go, that's better.
Genuinely hoping I do badly. Didn't.
Nearly out of willpower.
You want to stick with it?
Okay, I got one. So,
If you
having 5 superficial willpower doesn't do anything, right?
if you burn all your willpower, I'm not sure you can willingly give up your last point of willpower, but you will be incapacitated.
Oh,
will
you
con-
can. You get impaired.
You're impaired.
Yeah,
You have a -2 on all of your mental.
No,
But again, it's just
impaired would be -2 on all rolls.
Impaired
exactly.
willpower is mental. Impaired
Mhm.
physical. Is,
Okay.
Yeah,
You-
impaired health is physical.
Oh, okay.
Point. You get aggravated if you really, really, really want to do that willpower, but that's going to take like roleplay stuff to regain.
Yeah.
Right.
You can bend and go aggravate. That's
If it's all superficial, does that do anything to me?
You're
Yeah.
mentally impaired. You're -2 on all social and mental rolls.
You'll be mentally impaired. Wow, it's 2021, Aldrich.
I'm in torpor. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay.
6 is
Eveline
a pretty
once
good roll.
more. It was. Just didn't beat my 8. Eveline screams once more at the massive flesh, which is able to split itself in two and dodge the incoming sonic boom. Inspector Grey, you have Scorpion's Touch ready.
yes. I will do my spit attack.
Okay, Dexterity and Athletics. I'm going to make this a slightly easier shot for you because of proximity and the size of the massive flesh, and I've already set out what I achieved to do, which was to put Aldrich in torpor. That is a hit, and Strength, Blood, Sorcery.
Alrighty.
And what I'm going to do is, because this Voj doesn't have stamina or occult stats, I'm going to halve the physical dice pool to just 5 for a defense. Because I think that seems a bit more fair. And that's aggravated damage, right?
Scorpion stretches.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Inspector Grey
Mhm.
spits a chunk of smoking vitae across the room, impacting directly in the center of massive flesh that begins to bubble and boil and fill the room with the scent of cooked flesh, like boiling pork in the middle of a kitchen. The creature lets out a huge, pained scream, and you notice a massive, gaping hole in the middle of it. Aldrich, you're in torpor. Thurston! You might be able to finish this thing off.
I will have dragged Aldrich over into the shadows where I am, probably causing my invisibility to drop, and I'm just over there with him going, Aldrich, don't worry, we're gonna get out of this.
It is
It's gonna be
because
fine.
Okay.
I can't wake you up right now. I'm a little too hungry and I don't have anything on me, but we will get you out of this. I swear it.
This is such a stupid reason to use willpower. But in torpor, I know you can use willpower to like open your eyes and stuff. Can his eyes just open up and just glare at Thurston as soon as he says this? I will gladly spend a point of willpower for that.
Yes. I wish I could just give that to you for free, but yeah. Absolutely.
So while I say in this Aldrich completely passed out, the eyes just flash open, and he just stares at you.
With the rage.
Thurston lets out another scream.
As that was the last round of combat. The acidic mess in the middle of the pile of flesh begins to spread out, and you notice that the creature is split into 3 different groups, each one falling to the floor, slightly gasping and trying desperately to grasp towards you, before finally coming to a halt and dying.
I would like to
Mine's
recover
death.
the one night I've thrown.
I'll rush over to Aldrich.
Juliet will wipe her weapon on a void sheet that go over as well.
Evelyn, I'm too hungry at the moment. I don't want to risk accidentally going bestial down here. I don't know if...
I'm not that bad off, but I could bring him back and unfortunately retreat for now. I feel like we have to come back with kindling. A lot of it. Get in touch with some of the military contacts, get some experimental stuff in here.
I'm all for retreating as of right now, yes.
Of course
Inspector
you are.
Gray, wits and
Yes.
awareness, please.
Alright.
Yeah, that's good enough. You hear this muffled sounds of someone straining against something, as if locked behind a wall. You follow it closer and closer to a small door, opening it, and finding the visage of Jacob Freeman, trapped in a small closet, tied to a chair.
What's the chair look like? It's meatsy.
There's so many different ways to answer that question, but it's just a chair.
Okay.
So it's just
Yeah,
a
because I was
wooden
going to say,
chair.
Juliet can scan it
It's
for aura.
meatsy.
Everyone,
Chair with
I believe this is the Freeman individual we've all been looking for. And I'll wave everyone over.
He looks like the guy in the locket.
Let us bring him with us. That was our objective, was to rescue him, correct?
I mean,
Sheriff?
not necessarily rescue, but apprehend.
Or eliminate. Seems like our job's been made easier. He's restrained. We kill. We leave.
Oh, I'm quite hungry then. And I will start feeding on Jacob Freeman.
Well, that
Humanity 3, y'all.
Juliet will look to Evelyn and Thurston. Would he object to myself being the one to wake him? Is he by chance at risk for the bond?
Oh, I know what you...
I don't think
I
he
believe
is.
so, but not as much as a normal kindred.
Well, I will have to do a full report before the morning sun returns, but yes, I think as he does that, in turning, she'll bite her wrist to go back to Aldrich.
I don't mean to ruin this all, but there is one huge problem that's stemming from Inspector Gray's first act that's had this domino effect of you still don't know where the phone is, and if you kill this guy... Oh, Zamiti's gone.
I didn't think we were killing this guy.
Well,
Oh, but he is of him.
well, I mean, I did ask.
And I mean, I'm only pointing this out because you've already got one person in torpor who, if he comes back to life and finds out you basically munched on the only lead, can't see him being too friendly to that. But it is your choice.
If someone were to point out to me that no, we weren't sent here, we were sent here for the phone, then I would stop.
I mean, he is part of the objective. The phone is the other objective.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Freeman, do you know where the phone is? The one you've created?
See him about to bite in, stop, and ask without moving.
Who are you?
You can call me Gray. And I would like to know about your research and the location of the phone.
The psychophone?
Yes.
It's not here. It's not here.
And do you know where it is?
The psychophone?
Yes.
Who are you?
You can call me Gray.
What are you doing here?
We've come to save you from this.
It's not here.
Unless you'd rather stay.
Stay where?
Here.
It's not here.
Evelyn, how hungry are you at the moment?
I'm at a 3. So, peckish.
Juliet, intelligence and occult, please. Anyone who's got dominate, in fact, intelligence and occult, please.
Our dominate guy is unconscious.
He's at torpor right now.
It's not
Pick
his
him
turn.
up at any moment.
It's not his turn.
Fun.
Wonderful. Juliet, you will instantly recognize the symptoms of a mortal, who has been overexposed to various forms of dominate, and that his mind is currently addled, knowing that getting information out of him will be just as effective as getting information out of Aldrich in his current position.
I rub in her face a little bit. He's not much use to us here. At least, there's no one present that could make use of him presently. I suggest we take him with us. The trunk is now empty. I believe we have some individuals at court that can go into the mind of one such as this. Figure some things out. there's any sort of commands or future orders for them to, raise hell if they were to be captured, we can go to measures to ensure that they're not so much of a problem. While certain members should
I
try.
agree. Going back to our haven is the right course of action. I agree, yes.
Yes, let's count out losses, take Freeman, get him to where he needs to go, feed, and go home for the night. I'll take Freeman.
Aldrich out by his just one arm.
Well, while Evelyn's dragging Aldrich, I'll be dragging Freeman.
Or Juliet's just like, I can take care of that so you don't have to do that. I don't think that he would be happy about his suit getting this ruined.
Oh, he doesn't care. But yeah, take care of that.
She'll go back to biting her wrist, kneel down, shove it into his mouth, wait.
I will make sure to look away as well, because I also am very hungry.
Juliet, increase your hunger by 2. Aldrich, increase your hunger to 4, thus you are no longer in torpor. Do you come out of torpor at 5? No, you're going to come out of it at 4.
Normal torpor, if you unstake, maybe at 5, but since she's this way, you come out of torpor after you reduce your hunger by 1, so it would be 4.
Do that then.
The super concise, not at all confused torpor rules. I understand that.
Everyone's at 4 now except for Evelyn.
Yeah, I'm only at 3.
I guess Aldrich heals a point with 2 when you wake up.
I think he comes back with just
like 1.
1 healed, 1 aggravated healed, yeah.
Yeah.
Point.
She'll lick her wrist, kind of pat him on the cheek, preemptively grab him by the hand. Can you stand? Come on, we gotta go.
What happened? Last thing I saw was a Thurston running away, and then
You got thrown against the wall, and in one hit, you went pristine, and then you went torpor. I had to wake you.
And then
Gold took care of it then.
Safety.
Yes, we gotta go. There are things we must discuss. Reports I have to write up.
Do we have the machine?
Not presently, but we have him. He's subjected to too much dominate, so we have to take him and basically put him in our own little insane asylum and make sure that he doesn't escape and, act on commands that have been placed into his mind. And there are some members of my court who can access minds addled such as this, so we will see what information we can gain from him in that way.
Yes, of course. I've never seen someone come out of an asylum any better than they went in. Sure, I have always thought the best medicine for an overly dominated mind is a more dominate. Could command him to take us to the object. If he knows where it is, he would do that. But he might not know where it is.
Their master put things in place to where they would not be able to follow such a command. I mean, an asylum in truth, just our own little heavily secure area to where we can put such individuals while we do our investigation, as it were.
Well, whatever we're planning on doing, I feel like we should do it from the safety of a vehicle or our haven.
Before we go, he physically is Jacob Freeman fine?
I mean, he looks a little worse for wear, but
would I be able to feed off of him without killing him?
I'm glad you said this, because he strides up to you, noticing your French accent, and says, Parlez-vous français?
Oui.
Qu'êtes-vous?
This is where Shiver now needs to switch to English because that is the extent of Bully's French.
I think that was how our
Time to feed.
It's funny. I didn't know French a moment ago. If you want to do your feeding roll, please do. Perfect. Aldrich's fangs extend as he looks at the man, who seems to be turning individually to each member of the coterie, showing off his newfound language ability. And just as he turns back to Aldrich, in the snap of a second, Aldrich pounces on the man, sinking his fangs deep into his flesh and extracting the warm, honey-like liquid to him, and sating to hunger. The man lets out a pleasurable sigh, looks back at Aldrich and says, "How was it for you?"
I don't need you to respond or ask questions about this. Alright. So we are going back to the tower. Are your people? Yes.
That'd be
I
best.
assume you can come with some sort of we may need backup or something of the sort. I guess we don't have to come back here, right? I hope not. If the device is down here somewhere, though, we may need help.
Then we will have to return, and that is something I will be inquiring when I submit my reports tonight.
I'm sure you noticed the strange rapport I have with that man. Last time we were here...
before.
What?
We've encountered him before.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. But
I'm purposely talking over Aldrich.
they are cousins. Curious.
Yes, it turns out we actually are. I'm not sure if I've told you my family history. I come from a
It's not
blue
the time.
blood in
We need to
France.
go back to the house.
I should explain myself.
No,
Clear
no,
up the confusion.
the house.
Point in time, but I would love to hear your lineage the next time you're in the London court.
I can explain this quickly now. My family is no longer in good standing, but turns out that man is
I
from
just
the
start
Carpathians,
singing
I
to
believe.
try and drown him out.
Evan, what are you doing? I'm having a conversation here.
You're very hurt. We need to get you back to the house.
I need to explain this first, as it looks bad. And I have a very reasonable explanation that you are ruining with your insistent interruptions.
You are not feeling well. You need to get back, heal up, and get in your right mind. Let's go home. And I'll put my arm, instead of like linking my arm in his like I normally do, I put it around his waist to support him.
Juliet will
Yes.
hold her hands behind her back and just say, well, do heal up. You do, out of everyone in this coterie, have the most open pending invitation to this court. I look forward to speaking with you again.
Yes, I would hope a venture of my standing would have an open invitation to the court. As I was saying, this man claims to be a Carpathian royalty. I'm sure you could tell from his accent. Seems we are literally cousins. Aunt of mine was apparently married to someone in his family. Tried to make it was all about customs, a noble to noble, when we first met.
Don't have to
It
tell me.
was
Work.
it was quite a shock when we met him the first time and Aldrich and him recognized each other.
And both of us are clearly not in good standings with our mortal side of the family anymore. That is why I wound up here, and him as well, I suppose.
And when you throw the holes of Meeksy thin in there, it gets even harder to have a conversation, so...
Blood does have a way of recognizing blood, does it not?
What are you insinuating?
And more
Think
than
we
I
should
ever
go
have.
home.
What was that?
You will come to find that I do not take kindly to repeating myself, sir.
You would not have to if someone, looking to Evelyn, would stop interjecting.
I am just worried about your well-being. And ordered for us
To
to go home.
continue with this night, I do not intend to spend my day rest here. Do the rest of you.
No, let's go home.
And I will start heading back the way we came.
Look at it.
I wanted to do a quick line for Endymion.
Helps if I do that. I wanted to do a quick line for Endymion, but it's not going to work. So you'll just, those of you in the coterie will hear Endymion scream into your skull. He likes this one. So, you successfully traverse your way back through the tunnels, taking the shortcut that you remember from when you last visited at Christmas. You would each get back into Juliet's car. I will get to you. And dropped off outside the Whitechapel house. Juliet, for her part, doesn't bother saying goodbye and just zooms off at the high speed of 10 miles an hour back to her own haven. Is there anything anyone wishes to do before resting for the day?
I would like to recover my daggers from fighting with the
You'll be able to do that on your way back
on the
out.
way out.
Yeah. Or even have Aldrich send his little rat horde to present them to you.
Or Juliet goes to, not her main haven, but one of her secondary havens. She will go drop the body off, just say, we found ourselves back at that fiend's place. You will have full reports in the morning. Secure this one in the meantime, and she will return to her haven. Possibly hunt along the way, because Hungry Boar is not good, not good. And then she'll finish off her night by beginning those reports.
Aldrich, you look like you're deep in thought.
Yeah. Once again, I'm just trying to make that decision if I need to wipe one of your guest players' minds or not. But I think I'm gonna let this one go. It seems to happen every time.
She's pretty much gone by this point.
Kindred with secrets. Whatever gonna happen next? In that case, we will call it the day. Thank you all for coming and watching. Thank you all for coming and playing. We'll start with our special guest, Juliet. 3 or 4 different names for you at this point. Who are you?
Yeah.
What do you do? Do you do things? Let's find out.
I do some things. I'm trying to get ready to go back to school. I have an associate's already. Just need to get my bachelor's. Get on top of that. Outside of that, I am very much into, crystals, gemstones, astrology, all of that. Proud pagan witch. You can find my Etsy, Wares of Astrid. And if you want a handwritten letter from Juliet, or if you know any of my other characters that I've roleplayed with you in the past, I'll have them write a letter to one of them. Every other Friday next week, you can find me on this channel playing Adventure that was very near to my heart. And jumping off of that, starting in January, I will be doing my own game in Tucson. I happen to live here. It's been a brain monkey for a very long time, and then Night Road came out. So I'm just going to be bouncing off that, using some of that material. So just pay attention to my Twitter, diviner_Astrid. You'll see some tarot stuff and just a whole bunch of geekery and just things.
You missed a trick on your Etsy shop. You should have called it Astridology.
Nah. See, the thing about Astrid is it tends to be Germanic and Scandinavian for divine strength or divine beauty. So, like, Path of Astrid, it's like you're going down the path of divine strength. I don't know.
We are educational here. Thurston, who are you? What do you do? Do you do things? Let's find out.
I'm at Nitrotype at practically everywhere. I mainly stick to Twitter though. I really like cool art, and I've gone down a few rabbit holes recently where I just like to retweet cool art. So if you like that kind of stuff, come follow me.
Fun. Aldrich, who are you? What many things do you do? Let's find out.
I'm Bully. I run things over at Table Goth. Check out our YouTube for tutorials and vampire games and stuff like that. And starting next week, I will be using our Twitch channel for the first time in forever to do some Monster Hearts based on the Hades video game, a Supergiant game. So that'll be a thing.
Been watching the art feeds you've been doing, and it's looking good. It's looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
Excited for it. Should be interesting.
Do tune into Tabletop because it's just such good content. It really is. Even with Bully there. We'll see if we've influenced him in any future games. Feline, who are you? Do you do things? What do you do? Let's find out.
I would like to start with a special shout out. Hello, kind daddy. Anyway, I'm Ms. Hearts. You can find me just about anywhere as Ms. Hearts, Twitch, Twitter, etc. I think that's all I'm doing at the moment. Which is very weird. Usually I'm doing other things. So yeah, find me here.
Inspector Grey, the bee is for bargain. Do you do things? What things do you do? Let's find out.
I mute myself. I mostly just play on Table of Horrors here on Thursdays. I do tabletop. I've been playing New Order a lot recently. That's about it.
I really need to add your OnlyFans link to that command.
No, don't. Twitch doesn't like that.
I don't think
that was my
I don't think
question.
Twitch will understand that it's a joke.
I'll do one of those like bit.ly links.
And yeah, we've got all sorts coming next week. Another episode of London by Gaslight and Oxford by Night with Juliet, who, while we have her, we're going to use her as much as we can. Coming up soon, August. Nitro, STA, August.
Oh, 15th, I think it was.
I don't remember if it's 14th or 15th.
It is. Yeah, the 15th.
15th! Another episode of Star Trek Adventures with the Pendragon crew. At some point soon, when I can get around to doing it, we're going to do the Homeworld Revelations quick play that's recently come out from Modiphius. It shouldn't take me too long because it's basically using the same system as STA, so it'll be fun. I think that's all we've got in the near future. So yes, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for playing. We'll go a raiding on Nora the Guardian, who is playing some game called Vampire the Masquerade.
Never heard
But
of
of
it.
course...
Wait, no, Go ahead.
Well, go on. Quick.
I was going to say, no, I did hear it that one time. That's the vampire sex game, right?
That's right. And we can't go until Noskavian does a line.
Have a good night.